Hey, it's Soul, and we are back with more Horrific Vision commentary. We're continuing our series of videos where I take a class that I'm not all that familiar with, gear it up with only outdoor and Horrific Vision content, and then complete a 5-chest run. Today we're back in Stormwind with my good old Beast Master Hunter, who got a bow upgrade since his victory in Orgrimmar. Thank you, World Boss Person. So now he's rocking a 433 item level with 2 corruption effects, a max level tentacle, like before, and a little corruption that gives me some bonus crit. His cloak level is rank 10, and neck is 75. Vision of Perfection rank 1 is his main essence, and his minors are Breath of the Dying rank 2, Crucible rank 3, and Condensed Life Force rank 1. So like it's a lot of little pew pews and stuff. So for talents, we've got Animal Companion, One with the Pack, Camouflage, Thrill of the Hunt, Born to be Wild, Stomp, and Aspect of the Beast. For research, he's actually just 1 point away from Gift of the Titans, so he has the cool little speed and damage buff. But early on, I expect him for group play, so there's no additional damage bonus or extra life, so whoops. As always, he's rocking Ghastly Goulash, and let's get started. So I was actually really scared of this run. When I did this came on the heels of like some authentication problems that were going on with Blizzard. I don't think it was a DDoS, but at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait until tomorrow and wait till servers are like stable. But then I just felt impatient and I was like, okay, I really want to get this out. I'm really excited to do more of these runs, and otherwise just kind of get this hunter person out of the way so I can start working on my other really crappy characters and try to get some traction in before either before the alpha starts or something. Well, anyway, so let's go ahead and get this guy started. But I was a little bit nervous about the run. Apart from performance, I was just a little scared about how my hunter was going to do because I just don't have the control that I feel like I do. So anyway, I start off with camouflage and I lean a little bit to the right to avoid picking up aggro. And in the meantime, this gives me a chance to take a look at the vial. I hope I looked at it. Okay, I did take a look at it. Blue is the bad vial. So you'll catch me grabbing some other stuff. So I opt to go for these guys right away, pop some cooldowns, and I make sure to have my intimidation and my kick, whatever it's called, to have that available when I need it to. Cool. There's a successful interrupt there. So I opt here to take out one mob before I start moving on to the other packs here. So the idea here, especially with using Vision of Perfection, is to just maintain the haste buff on my pet as much as possible and just cleave a lot. So now that I have these ads, I think I focus on the other Rift Walker just to make sure that that guy's out of the way. And once it is, then I go for the rest of these guys. So in this case, I go for the Priest because I want to not have to deal with the fear in case I get hit by that. And then I just do my best to try to maintain damage on most of these guys. So like right here, you can see that the Heart Piercer is just kind of hanging out on his own. So it's a little bit less efficient. I feel like there are much better ways that I can try to control my pet and otherwise maybe have them position my pets. To, I don't know, make them line of sight or something like that. By the way, the white one is called Dual Puppy, right? And the smaller one is called Metal Puppy. So you can get familiar with how I roll. But that I get off to a pretty decent start here. And I do have Kebab handy. I should have mentioned that earlier. So I'm going to be employing that throughout this run to make sure that I don't just run out of sanity. That damn tentacle decided to just kind of keep going to town. And keep in mind that my cloak rank is at 10 and not 11. 11 is where my sanity resistance goes shoots up considerably, all the way up to 65%. So right now it's at rank 10, which means it's at 50%. And that really does make a difference. Between having the Elite Extermination and having cloak rank at 11, that puts me at a really comfortable spot to do fairly clean clears of either Orgrimmar or Stormwind. So as you see, I kind of ran in to grab a bunch of guys, and the idea here once again is to get the buff going and to get at least get the smaller ads killed. And then from there, I go for the first elite, or the one elite that is in the Dwarven district. Haha. So from here, I kind of go to town. I make sure I pop my wrath and pop my aspect of the shucks. You know what I mean. I'm terrible. I'm just terrible at remembering these names. Of course, I'm trying to jump around and grab more ads, but of course, you want to be careful. We're rocking Dark Delusions this week, so you just want to make sure that you are not jumping into your own pink person. That's terrible of me. A very bad example of that. But as you can see, I'm just kind of jump around like a maniac and just keeping my multi-shot buff rolling. Of course, we have outliers like this guy right over here. But I think I feigned death at that moment so I can start trying to take care of bombs. Of course, that guy decided to keep going for me. Bummer for me, but it's all right. But I'm trying to, for the most part, just maintain the buff while my pets just go to town. Little chest can't hurt, of course. And some of these guys are a little bit hardy, but I did do a really big pull. And of course, my pet health is a little bit low. Just try to maintain your men pets at all times. I did follow some of your guys' advice with using a more ferocity pet, so that way I can take advantage of the leech. Between the leech and goulash, I'm totally fine. I probably could have switched to something else if I really wanted to. And as for my pet, the leech that comes from dual puppy is definitely keeping up much better than it was with the Juice. I feel bad for Juice because it's the tanky pet, and yet he's not really staying alive as well as he could. So the whole room is clear. And this is, I believe, my third or my fourth attempt. I think it was my fourth attempt at doing this all today. The third attempt happened to be when I disconnected, and that was a really unfortunate run. I thought I was doing pretty well, but this is the fourth. So now with this guy out, I have all cooldowns available. I am a little bit under half sanity, but I'm still doing okay. I'm still doing okay with the pacing that I'm going with. I have my kebab that's going to be available, so I'm going to try to take that as soon as I can. Thankfully, with pets tanking, there are fewer things to worry about, such as that empowered flame breath. It's all going on the pets. The pet's hardly taking a darn lick of damage. So here I run out, and then I just kind of position myself, and then I eat. So that way I'm at least out in the tainted areas and not in the corrupted areas. So that way the sanity drain is a little bit less. A little bit of coffee for my own benefit. And then off I go with engaging the eye. What's fortunate about this that I learned too is that even though your pet is AoEing a lot of stuff, attacking those little nodes or little pimple things, they don't keep you in combat. So you're okay. When running in, of course, the light hunters will always give you trouble, and we're dealing with split personality here, so just be very careful with your movement. As soon as I got like one of those guys down, I go for the next pack. I still have a good bit of time before I feel like I need to eat, and then of course, just on the other side or in the opposite direction is the elite. I think I managed to let myself get stunned over there, and there are things that I could have done too. I could have line of sighted. I could have done a whole bunch of different things, and that was just kind of a slip up on my part. The tentacle has proven to be really, really useful, especially for big pulls. Now, of course, it's no Twilight Devastation, but then when I want to try to, if I'm taking out multiple mobs, the range on the tentacle is insane. So it'll hit things from well over 40 or 50 yards away. So here we're taking on this elite. The Blade Flourish is not something that I have to worry about. Of course, it's something that I have to worry about for melee tunes or in range. But I take out the elites very, very easily. And then I get disoriented like a noob. So I believe I managed to, so I stealth here. I skip this whopping one whole pack, before I get spotted by the Executioner. And then it's time to go back to town again. So I'm running a little bit low on sanity. I believe I plan on dropping an orb after this pull. But from here, I prioritize getting the informants, which are the ones that do the stun, followed by the Executioner, because I don't want my pet to be in trouble, and I'll be in a really tight spot. So I pop the orb, go for the informant first, and then the rest just kind of fall in place afterwards. And these pets are nuts. Maintaining the 3 stacks thanks to Barb Shot it's an incredible DPS increase. So I can't understate that even a rank 1 Vision of Perfection will take you really, really far. So off we go with the elite. And this is where I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, so how does his little tentacle thing go? What happens in this case? And you're about to find out. It still hits you. So it still hits the actual player. It doesn't hit the pet. So you just want to make sure you keep moving. The Blood Eruption, I just didn't kill him fast enough, so I'm just going to take that damage. But the tentacle pops out to help finish him off, and there we go. And the tentacle happens to take care of that Light Hunter as well. So it's super useful. The tentacle's great. I just happen, I would just love to have a bunch of them for my paladin, but I never do. And well, it kind of sucks. So this is the last pack right before Shaw. And I am really good on Sanity right now. I just popped an orb, as you saw. And then after the elite, I've got plenty of juice back. So we just got to take care of these, clean these up a little bit. And we're ready. So just like before, when you engage Shaw, okay, I guess I used a kebab, nice. When you engage Shaw, I'll just say this now, you will want to pop cooldowns, but shortly after engaging him, he does disappear. So if you pop stuff a little bit too early, you're going to end up missing out. So here, I get in a couple hits, cool, go me, and then away he goes. So just kind of hold off for a little bit. Once he pops back up, then you can go ahead and go to town, pop the good stuff, unload as much as you can, because at least I may have mistakenly said this, but his when he does his little disappearing act, it's based on a timer, and it's not based on his life. Because I have had bad runs here where he would do that little disappearing act multiple times, more times than normal. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just make sure to kill him faster then. And so faster I did. Down he goes. No problem. We're at 2/3 sanity. I still have 2 orbs left. No extra lives, but I have plenty of kebab for this run. And off we go to the trade district. Oh boy. Everyone's favorite. Because it's not so bad. Skip the rare. I do advise that now that I'm looking at this, I advise using a smaller mount. Me using the bot here was a bad idea. Don't do that. Just straight up, don't do that. It causes obstructions and height problems, and unless you're just used to it, don't bother with it. So these days I'm employing a practice of standing right up in the tentacle's melee range to make sure that it does not burrow and appear somewhere else. That's kind of its whole goal. It's just trying to pop up in front of your face so it can start, doing tentacle things to you. But if you leave range, then it disappears. So the rule of thumb is to stay within melee range of it and it will not disappear. So I start to employ that sort of tactic here. Where I reposition the tentacles once to get them at least moving, and then from there all the tentacles are stacked, and I just stay on top of them. And from there, I just let Goulash keep me up, which makes things quite pleasant. So here we go. We're doing the big pull. Kind of a big pull. The tentacle does, again, it does a great job of helping me out. And from there, I just get up in the tentacle's face. It doesn't really have a face, but you know what I mean. And from there, it just kind of stays there, keeps hanging out. So there's the other one. They didn't quite stack as beautifully as I would have liked, but I still have a lot more control than I used to in previous runs. So this makes Stormwind, which has arguably more tentacles to deal with, a bit easier to deal with. Hey, how about that? So let's see, going for this pack, let's see, what did I do here? I think I just tried to at least clear some of the packs, at least this one that does the stun, because that can be a little bit annoying for this particular fight. So let me tell you about this kind of interesting encounter that I had with this elite. So I kicked the Agonizing Torment, like go me, and from there I believe I had feigned death for this, but then he uses converts on my pet, on Dual Puppy. So what happened was, because he uses it on my pets, it makes him aggressive to me or something like that, and so I couldn't use kill command. I was like, oh, uh-oh, that's not good. So I'm not quite, so this is, yeah, I haven't encountered that before, so I'm not quite sure if it had something to do with me feigning death, or I don't know. Oh well, maybe you guys can help answer that for me. So I'm getting a little bit low on sanity, but this guy's a total pushover, especially because of how he works. I mean, when he does chains, all you really should do is just maintain the 3 stacks of your buff, and then your pets will just go nasty all over its face. I believe I'm gonna let it fall off here, which I know disappointed me, but the pet pretty much takes care of it, and that's the end of the fight in this quarter anyway. So we're all right. And from here, I can start clearing stuff out while keeping a close eye on my sanity. So I'm dipping a little bit under a third now. I do take a kebab to buy myself a little bit of time, which isn't really much. Between the current cloak level and the sanity drain, I definitely don't gain 100. I think I gain like half of that, maybe something like that. But it's not too much. It's a little something though, and whatever I can buy, I will take. Like that chest over there. And I think I do happen to see a vial. There are very few vials that I managed to find here. But this one definitely helped take it home, so that way I can at least finish this quarter and then move on to the next. So that way I can use that second orb a little bit later. So you can easily kind of see that based on this, and barring any slip ups or mistakes that I made throughout this run, if I did have that just one cloak rank, if I was just at 11, it would make a really, really big difference. So keep that in mind when you're wondering to yourself, oh man, I'm not doing this fast enough. It may just be something as simple as your cloak rank, which I know can be still kind of a pain. It does take quite a few visions to get your rank up, but it's really worth it. So from here, we're going off to the mage quarter, but not before taking out the eyeball. Bye-bye, eyeball. And I'm starting to get pretty darn low on sanity, but I decide, I'll push it just a little bit. Just a little bit. I take care of these things because I'm a little bit scared about getting some extra aggro. And this is a pretty dangerous place to do things like pop an orb or use a kebab. And I did make mistakes here on previous runs where I thought I was going to be able to eat, and just before the actual buff went through or the actual sanity restore happened, a mob would come in and attack me. And I'm sure that there are many of you who might have experienced similar really awful phenomena. So you saw Crawling Corruption was coming my way just as I was trying to deploy that orb, and if it didn't, that might have been the end for me. But happy ending. I was able to get through. And so I just clear out these mobs really quick. My sanity is back to full. The clock is reset, and we're ready to proceed. So I tag that tentacle so it can come down. Unfortunately, kill command doesn't quite work. I guess it's too far of a distance because my pet would have to go all the way around and such. So, oh well, not a big deal though. So while I'm waiting here, thanks to split personality and its greatness, I just clear out the tumors right before that. And I do backtrack a little bit because I did notice a vial right up here that I can barely click from this distance. So that gives me a small little boost, which gets almost negated by me having to stand there. But ideally, it would work out. So off I go into this courtyard in front of the mage tower, and I just go for it. I don't go for the portal keeper yet. I have cooldowns. I'm ready. I can do this. And so I quickly get out of the split personality. I was pretty thankful about the positioning there. It wasn't so bad. And I'm just working on trying to burn them down as quickly as I can before the next split personality comes out, because that could be really dangerous for my sanity. So here it comes. And once again, I luck out. I have just the perfect opening. I mean, imagine if it was on the other side. I would have been trucked. And I would have been in a whole world of trouble. But he went down. Everything's cool. No problem. Definitely wasn't lucky at all. It was all skill. Absolutely. Look at that skill. Nice disorient. So at this point, I'm feeling like, I'm feeling okay, but I'm still a little bit worried because this is the farthest that I've gotten in this vision so far, I think. In previous runs, like I totally screwed up. So it's getting a little bit tight here. So I'm trying my best to get down this marshmallow dude as hard as I can, but these things are pretty darn sturdy compared to other mobs. So of course you want to try and kick it whenever you can to avoid the debuff that makes you take 100% increased shadow damage per stack. But now I'm going to go around and start clearing out the rest of these portals. Starting with this group, which is pretty non-threatening. They don't do really any special attacks or effects that are dangerous of any sort. But they are a little bit sturdy. So the concern right now is, okay, when am I going to drop my third and final orb? Am I able to last all the way till Umbric, or am I going to have to pop it beforehand? And of course, I want to pop it later rather than sooner. Although I am starting to get to under that 1/3 sanity level, and everything's starting to slow me down. So, okay, all right, cool. I'll start off with a kebab. That'll buy me like a couple of seconds at best. Like I had said before, popping a kebab in a lost area with such a low cloak level is not all that worth it, especially when you lose time the way I'm doing right now. So just want to be really careful. And keep in mind where it is that you're eating your kebab. But of course, sometimes when you're deep in, you don't have any choice. You just gotta keep going. And that totally didn't sound sexual at all. No way. Very professional here, guys. Very professional. Okay. So I'm trying to take down that awful marshmallow. Thankfully, that tentacle pops in to say hello. And let's see, where do I think? Okay, I think I pop an orb here. Yeah, I think I was just kind of hesitating. I'm like, okay, should I pop it? Should I at least try climbing up? Nah, screw it. No choice here. So with the timing that I have right now, I still have about 2 or so minutes left until I can pop another kebab. But this is it. No orbs left. It's all dope skill from here. So I started going to town on this guy. Rain of Fire does in fact rain on you and not your pets, so be very careful about that. The ads come out, but the ads almost mean nothing aside from the fact that I believe they explode when you kill them. So you just want to make sure that you're not standing in their little swirly when they do die. So that unstable servant, okay, he's about to explode, and that I believe does inflict sanity damage. And now it's time to head off to Funbrick. Funbrick. Don't get dazed. Oh, yep, yeah. Every time, man. Don't you just hate that? You wanna run out to the open area so that way you can position yourself, and you're really hoping against hope that the split personality doesn't activate. And it does. And you get really sad, and then you think to yourself, hey, maybe I should have a weak aura for it. But maybe you don't believe in weak auras. But oh well. Off we go. Time for some Funbrick. All cooldowns are available. I am at 3/4 sanity, 75% sanity. So in Tropic Missiles, I go ahead and kick. And then for Polymorph, I feign death for it to avoid it. The pets go nuts. They immediately run over to the boss. And from there, I don't have any tricks, so I just end up eating this damage. Unfortunately, I get hit by both the Polymorph and his arcane missiles, which is really unfortunate. I was trying to avoid something like that. There's some more entropic missiles there that I don't interrupt because I'd rather be kicking the polymorph, to be honest. And so there's the polymorph, and I think I kicked it. There we go. And I just gotta get a few more seconds to blow him up. I feign death the other arcane missiles, and down he goes. 200 sanity raised. I'm a little bit over half of my juice left. I have a kebab available, but I'm going to get out of here first. Once I take the portal, I'm back in the tainted areas where the sanity drain is considerably less, and I immediately eat. So this is it. I have about half of my sanity left. I have no extra life. I have no drums. I have no cooldown pots. I probably am regretting not having drums or cooldown pots, but oh well. I think I checked my inventory just in case. But we're all right, I think. Kind of, sort of. So in this case, I go up to Illyria's freaking face. I'm like, I'm not going to bother with the eyeballs. I'm just going to get right up in there, pop cooldowns, and just get nuts. So I get 3 charges of the buff, of the barb shot buff, as quickly as I can. I reposition a little bit, and I'm trying my very bestest to angle myself so that way I don't get hit by the Eye of Chaos. And you'll see that as I'm doing this fight, I barely have the boss on my screen. I try to avoid getting her on screen as much as I can, so that way I can reposition the eyeball whenever I want. So you can see how I'm positioned like slightly at an angle, and I'm letting my pets go nuts. Darkened Sky at least is something that I don't have to worry about as a pet class. And I'm just trying to constantly hit buttons. That way I can I can proc any of my minor Azerite traits, which do a lot of damage in this fight. They actually put together all 3 of my lower ranked Azerite traits. They were my top damage, if I add up all of them together, of course. So as my pets are going nuts, I'm just popping my Wrath whenever I can, and just keep throwing down the damage. There's a tentacle. Look at that tentacle go! Woo! So we're doing good. She's still off screen. I'm just trying to, avoid the gaze of the eye. And look at how little sanity I lost during this. Did pretty good on this one. I was really impressed by this kill. I was proud of that one. Woohoo! Look at the face of relief. So it felt good. This felt like one that I earned. And there we go. There's the achievement. So in retrospect, this one was a lot of fun. The big focus was the mobility, popping instance all the time, and letting the pets do its job. Thank you to the puppies for doing some good work. I don't think the gear that I got was very good. I don't remember it at all, so I'm pretty sure it was not memorable. Let's take a look. I think this is why I give my prayer for the big money. So let's see. I happen to get haste proc on a belt, which is I don't know if that's good for Beastmaster Hunter. I think crit. Isn't crit more valuable, or is it mastery for just the pet damage? I'm not sure, but I still got it. I still finished, so we're still good. So that's going to be it for me. I hope that this was enjoyable for you. It was for me, for sure. So stay tuned, because I'm going to keep doing this with as many classes as I can mentally handle. I have a couple on the way, probably not till next week though, but stay tuned for that, and don't forget to subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you for the next thing that I do. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.